Previously on No Reserves Radio.
Oh my God, Angelo! Come on, have some self-respect. The Eagles can't hurt you if you don't constantly pander to them.
Here's the biggest indictment of Dame that I can say. Dame has been so off this year that Rehn went on live air and said Jalen Brunson deserved an all-star start over him.
You are now Angelo Didululo.
Do you think it is possible that the management of the Memphis Grizzlies are just buying into the reckless youth movement and they got rid of the one person in the locker room that probably was telling Ja to knock it off?
Because he's taken advantage of me multiple times when I was younger. That sounded bad. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you're correct in that assessment.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to No Reserves Radio. I'm your host, Rehn. With me, as always, Austin and Angelo. We are all here this week. Is that 2 weeks in a row? 3 weeks in a row? No, because last week it was just Austin and I.
Yeah, I would want to forget that too if I were you, so it's okay.
No, that was honestly, it was a pretty decent episode.
Decent?
It was a pretty decent episode. It was pretty solid.
Homie, listen, I don't know what the fuck. You people aren't human. I don't know someone who talks like this. Do you just not figure out your sentences before you say them?
So I know this is a difficult concept for you to grasp, but a lot of people, Austin and I included, we like to think about what we're saying while we're saying it because this is a medium where you have to think quickly. And
especially me.
That predicates a need to think about what you're saying in the middle of your sentence so that you know how to articulate the rest of your sentence. I know you are just a stream of consciousness. You don't think about what you say. We all know. We can tell. We get it. But the rest of us, we like to, make sense when we talk.
That's why
so then why didn't you think about anything during any of those little diatribes about me?
What? Sorry, I couldn't understand.
Why didn't you fucking stop in the middle of your sentence during any of that then?
Because I'm not having to think about any of this. We're
just making fun of you.
This is just dunking on Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do this every day for 9 hours in the group chat. This is my regression to the norm. Dunking on Angelo, I could do it in my sleep. I do it in my sleep sometimes. Sometimes, I'll be in the middle of, a dream. I'm, flying to fucking Paris or something, and I pull out my phone, and I have to text Angelo, hey, you suck. It just happens, okay? So...
What?
No, that, for the record, that is the sign that I have been kidnapped. If I ever, am nice to Angelo in the group chat. That is my, subtle inclination that something bad has happened, and I have been kidnapped, and you need to form a search party to come and rescue me.
It's like his safe word.
Yeah, it is my safe word. Oh, Jesus. So we're going to start, if you've been listening to us for a while, last year we did top 10 players for last season at every position. We're starting that again this season because we're in the off season and there's not really a lot going on. That said, I do have a little bit to talk about. We're going to get through it real fucking quick though, because
yes,
things coming later as well. Chris Paul's contract with the Spurs has 8 sets of bonuses. One of the bonuses is if he finishes the season with 32 or more games. With 32 or more wins for the Spurs. I just found that interesting.
That's sad.
So if you look at his contract, how it's set up, it's 15.869999. Right? Yeah, it's something like that. And the reason for that is to keep it under the apron so that he could be traded to a contender at the deadline. That's the purpose of Chris Paul's contract, and all of those bonuses are included in the trade. Just an interesting thing that one of them is 32 wins because the Spurs have not won 32 games in a while. Cavaliers and Evan Mobley are close on a max extension. No shit.
He deserves it.
French national team will retire Tony Parker's number 9 jersey against Serbia, which, regardless of how you feel about jersey retirements, like, if a national team is going to do it, Tony Parker is a good one to do for France because, like, the embodiment of French basketball.
I'm glad they did it in Serbia because we know Nikola doesn't give a shit either way, so. Good.
Sadiq Bey has agreed on a 3-year, $20 million contract with the Washington Wizards. This is weird to me because I think Sadiq Bey has a lot to offer to a contender, and if the buy-in for Sadiq Bey was $20 million over 3 years, that he went to the Wizards is odd to me. Like, there's not a contending team out there or a team that, you know, is gonna be within 5 games of the play-in that couldn't have offered Sadiq Bey. Maybe it's because he wants to be a starter.
Maybe he wants to be on the Wizards, man.
Nobody wants to be on the Wizards. The report, we don't have any of the information, but the NBA has reached a $76 billion media rights deal. So get ready for those contracts, because remember the last one. Timothy Mozgov got like $178 million. So Kawhi Leonard has backed out, or it's conflicting. The report is he backed out because of injury, but it sounds more like he was kind of forced out because you don't get to load manage if you agree to play for the national team. They replaced him with Derek White, which is interesting for a lot of reasons. Like, last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was the FIBA World Cup, U.S. finished 4th. So obviously this year they wanted to go into the Olympics with more of a complete roster, more of a, using a different sports term here, sabermetric roster where you optimize the builds around each other. So Jaylen Brown, who is not on the national team, and we've talked about Jaylen Brown in the past as being he wants to be the next revolutionary in the NBA, going back to the shoes he wore with the "Was It Really Naismith" and the messages. And so he tweeted, Nike, this what we doing? As in, it's Nike's decision to leave him off the roster because he's not a Nike athlete. Anthony Edwards is with Adidas. Like, that had nothing to do with it. Grant Hill said on Jaylen Brown's insinuation that Nike was involved in leaving him off the Olympic roster, "For a good portion of my career, I wore Fila. This is about putting together a team that complements each other and a team that fits." Now, Jaylen Brown is kind of a Swiss Army knife. Like, I feel like he could fit on this team, but I feel like with the guards that they have and some of the players they have, I feel like Derek White does mesh better than Jaylen Brown. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that it was a targeted move to leave Jaylen Brown off the roster, or do you just think Derek White kind of just fits?
I mean, I think it was a snub. I understand your argument for, fit, but quite honestly, this is Team USA. We don't give a shit about fit. We want to put the 12 best players in the NBA
Right.
on our roster. So,
But
Jaylen Brown is that.
But we did that at FIBA, and we didn't even get on the podium.
No, we didn't.
What?
I'm trying to figure out who was on the
Isn't
FIBA
that
team.
the team that didn't have LeBron, KD, or Steph?
It doesn't matter. They put the best possible players.
Oh my God! It didn't.
Hold on, let's look.
You're really gonna run? Don't come with the hopium today.
Going down this path. This is gonna be a
Don't come
fun
with
day.
the hopium today, Ron. This is not the day to come with the hopium.
Well, I'm just interested in who all was on it. Because, like, let's not pretend that this wasn't a good team. Tyrese Halliburton, Mikal Bridges, Brandon Ingram, Paolo Banchero, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Cat. Like, it's not a bad team.
Oh, stop it!
It's up and
That
coming.
isn't America. That's not the team America puts out there. I'm sorry.
What?
Regardless, after an embarrassing FIBA loss, they were going to say, you know what, we're going to have the best players from the U.S.
Exactly. That's why LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant are all there.
In that
Thank
starting
you.
five. In that starting five. The bench is going to be pieces that you're going to plug and play based on need. You need more defense, you're going to put out... Is Drew starting? I don't remember if Drew's starting. If Drew's not starting, you're putting Drew on the floor. If you need more playmaking and offensive creation, Tyrese Halliburton's going in. The starting five was always going to be the best five.
I think it is AD, KD, LeBron,
And
Curry, and it might be Drew.
I thought it was Ant.
No, Ant's off the bench. Or these came off the bench yesterday versus Canada.
Well, regardless, the whole point of the bench was to min-max it so that you always had an answer. You weren't just
And I don't give a shit about min-maxing. This is fucking America. You put the best players on the court, period.
And that's how you end up not even getting on the podium.
No! No! Doing the opposite of that is how they ended up not going on the podium, Run. They were out there with, like, rookie Anthony Edwards, and you're like, oh, yeah, this was a really good roster. Bull fucking shit.
Rookie Anthony Edwards.
Bullshit.
A rookie Anthony Edwards.
You're telling me a team that doesn't have KD, LeBron, or Steph on it was the best roster we could have put... Bull fucking shit.
When those players wouldn't play, yeah, that is.
This is America. You play for America, damn it.
Okay. Well, anyway, that was all I got. I wanted to get through the news quickly because I don't remember how long this took us last year.
A while.
Sorry, I just ate, so I'm having acid reflux. Bear with me. Speaking of bearing with, Austin's having construction done on his house, so if you hear a loud bang or Austin stops talking for a minute because he's moving all of his stuff into the other room, that's why. But I don't think it'll be
Austin
a problem.
doesn't talk enough for him to get background noise.
Well, yeah, but like if one of us addresses Austin normally, he does respond.
Yeah.
So we're starting. We're starting with centers. We're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rules are: this is a subjective list. If you don't like our picks, deal with it because we each have different metrics we're gauging them on. Like, for instance, me, I stuck to the rules, which were playoffs don't matter in this. This was best of the regular season. Angelo's about to yell and blah, 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 bullshit.
I don't remember the rules.
And then the most important one was games required. So we have a threshold.
Was
it's
it
different.
55? Because
you're telling everyone it is supposed to just be. We have rules that keep players on or off the lists.
Okay.
If your favorite players are not on the list, they probably did not play enough games or something to that effect. Or Basketball Reference has them listed as a power forward when they're a point guard. Deal with it. Blame Basketball Reference because that's what we used because last year we had some snafus with positioning.
Ren did.
Not we.
We are a group.
Ren did.
And that's fine. So let's go ahead and start with number 10. We won't do honorable mentions until, like, if you have said someone or someone else says someone, then you can be like, yeah, they were on my honorable mentions. We're not going to do the honorable mentions because for me personally, that would spoil because I feel like for the first time in our history, I think my list is going to be the most contentious.
I think mine's going to be the most, like,
basic.
Widely accepted.
I really think, like, my top two for sure. I feel like we should all have the same top two
Honestly,
I hope so.
It's honestly kind of hard because I'm looking at my list and, like, basically 3 through, I'd argue even 8 or 9, you could just, like, do a flavor swap and.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I think my number 3. So I don't know how in depth you guys went into this doing your research. I did have a little bit of recency bias in a couple of my picks because like I pulled up since All-Star break and had some interesting things revealed to me. And that did impact my list a little bit. But let's just get into it.
Who's starting? What's the order? Let's hear it.
What did we do last year?
I don't care. Let's do.
I think you were first.
No,
first?
Ren definitely.
No,
was.
I wasn't.
I think
first.
I was first. You were first.
I was
know
not
I was
first.
in the middle. I was
Yeah.
sandwiched between the two of you.
Okay.
So, Angelo, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
You know what? Let's give the people what they want. Let's keep tradition and let's have Ren go first. I give the floor to you, good sir.
Okay, so my number 10 is Kristaps Porzingis.
Okay.
I
No
hate
yell?
you.
No yell? No yell?
Fucking hate
So for
you.
me,
Fucking hate you. Fucking hate
do you have Kristaps at 10? Is that
No,
what
I have him much higher.
Okay. So for me, the stats be damned. Okay, so Kristaps averaged 20.17.
Yeah.
No. Stats be damned. At 20.1 points, 7.2 rebounds at 7'2". He's 7'2" and he averaged 7.2 rebounds, 2 assists, 51-37 shooting splits, 23.2 PER. But do you know what the most important stat is? Availability. He only played 57 games. It's a lot easier to have higher averages when you don't suit up for enough games. Again, for me, you're 7'2", and you only average 7 rebounds in a game. He's still top 10. Like, he's still in my top 10. But I told you my number 10 was going to be contentious. Had he played more games and averaged these same numbers, which he's perfectly capable of doing, we know that. I'm not saying he isn't that good of a player. I'm just saying he didn't play enough games at those averages for me to justify putting him above other players. Now, looking at the rest of my list, like there's a lot of players that averaged way less than him, but they also played a lot of games.
Shit!
I really feel like I left someone off my list.
No! No, you didn't!
Also, he's 7'2". Do you know how many blocks he got? 1.9. Compared to a lot of these other guys.
Oh my god.
Compared to a lot of the other players, I am interested to see who Austin left off his list. I have a theory on who it is because I have one that I think I'm going to have way higher than either of you. I'm sure I have Wemby higher than Austin. I'm guessing Wemby's not even on his top 10.
No,
but yeah,
I put biases aside.
You put bias aside. Okay.
Biases
Yeah.
aside.
So like I
did
said,
not.
I think Kristaps' talent is definitely in that top 5, top 6 area. This season alone, which is what I'm grading this on, he just didn't play enough games. He missed part of the playoffs, some important games in the playoffs. And for me,
came back for some important games.
He did. But availability is the most important thing because those games against the Pacers could have gone completely differently.
Mm-hmm.
And his availability played into that. So, again, just based on this previous season, well, it's not based on this previous season because, like, when was the last time he played more? He's played more than 70 games one time in his career, and he's played more than 60 games twice in his career.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Talent-wise, all the way up there, but availability, 10. He's not on the list. It's that I couldn't justify putting him ahead of some of these other guys for my own personal grading scale. Austin, you're up.
My number 10 is Miles Turner.
Interesting.
I mean,
I feel like you left someone out too.
What?
I feel like you left someone out too just on that. But go on.
I might have. I didn't super go into it, but it doesn't matter. So Miles Turner, 17.1, 7 boards, 1.3 assists. He has
7 boards. You mean the 7 boards that Ren just? Go on. Never mind.
Yeah. How tall is Miles Turner?
Compared to Porzingis?
6'11".
6'10".
That's 4 inches, my guy. Well, it says 6'11" on basketball. 3 to 4 inches.
Anyway,
But the reason he's 10 is I had a few people that I was going to put above him, but Miles Turner's defense kind of set him apart for me. No. But that's really it. I mean, any issues, Ren?
No,
The homer?
no. I mean, I've got. He's on my list, so I'll save some of my points.
Okay. I feel like maybe I didn't forget someone, and maybe Angelo just messed up something.
Oh
Go
no,
ahead,
I think that I have, like I said, I have 2 or 3 players that I guarantee y'all have on your list, and I don't.
He was on the fringe, but I couldn't justify the list.
Yeah, I have 2 or
But-
3 players for sure that you all have on your top 10 that I don't.
There was a pretty good pool. I was honestly looking at the end of it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like,
Yeah,
he
I
has a
actually-
case, he has a case. He has.
Center's
Miles
really
Turner was
good
one guy.
right now.
I
has a
was going to
case,
talk
yeah.
about that. Like, does it feel like there's like, because the NBA used to be based entirely around bigs.
Mhm.
Adam worships that era, and then centers regress for a little bit. But like looking at the stats this year, like there's been a huge resurgence of centers.
It was like centers, then like small forward, then now it's back to center.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Angelo?
I tried not to let my homerism get me, so I made him 10 just to say it. But I put Jared Allen at 10.
Interesting.
Yeah, I rounded up. I'm not going into the points. I'm not educated like you are, Ren. But he averaged
I have him
17
if you want
points,
him.
11 rebounds, 3 assists. He had a 22 PER. The Cavs defense was good all year. The only really knock I really have on him was he went out at the absolute worst fucking time in the playoffs against the Celtics, if I'm not mistaken. Him and Mitchell. But he is a very good big. He's a defensive threat, and he's part of one of. And in fact, I'm noticing. Other than like 1 or 2 people, I'm noticing a theme that all these centers are centers on either fringe playoff teams or at the high end, like finals contention teams.
I have two that are not.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so we probably
So-
have the same 2. Maybe
Yeah.
our list won't be that different.
So yeah, but yeah, nothing but love for Jared Allen, and I have a feeling. Well, no, he has a 22 PER. That's an advanced metric, so I'm sure he's in runs like top 5. But regardless, yeah, flowers for Jared Allen.
He was my 11. I
He
gave Turner
is-
the edge because Turner can shoot over Jared Allen.
He is on my list. I will say that.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's my 10. On to 9.
So number 9, this is one that, again, these are our own personal takes, and we have our own reasons for this, and
Oh, God.
they are biased. So I have Chet Holmgren at number 9. And
Wow.
why? Wow.
Okay.
I'm starting to
Um,
recognize the trend here.
Yeah, me too.
What's the trend?
You'll see.
Trend. Is it rebounds? Do you think it's rebounds? It's not rebounds.
It's not.
So Chet had a pretty solid rookie campaign, even though it was his second year in the league. 16.5 points, 8 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 53% from the field, 37% from deep, 20.4 PER. For me, this was largely based on what we were seeing from Chet throughout the season, because again, we had injury concerns when he was drafted. And then in the offseason, prior to his first season, what happens? He's playing pickup. He's out for the rest of the year. He plays 0 games in his rookie season. To come back and play all 82 games, perform as well as he did. Now, granted, he's on a pretty freaking stacked team. But just based on the eye test, a lot of this team's success was due, well, most of this team's success was due to Shea, but a lot of the success was Chet's integration in the pick and roll and pick and pop game with Shea. I had it pulled up, but his his play breakdown metrics were pretty insane. I don't have it pulled up anymore, but you just have to go with me on this. Obviously, 37% from a big. In a couple years, that's going to be nothing, it feels like. But as of now, one of the better shooting, if not the best shooting big. Is he the out of the people I have, he's the best shooting big.
Did you forget someone, Ren?
I don't think so.
I think you forgot someone.
I don't think I did.
This is all just a huge episode to gaslight each of us into thinking we forgot someone.
That's the thing. I think we've all said everyone else has forgot someone the entire episode.
Like, going off percentage, you're missing someone.
So once I got like finalized, I didn't like type certain players, like the rest of their. Because like when I was looking at the baseline stats and then the defensive stats and then the advanced stats, like I kind of had my list finalized, and then I wrote the stats or the shooting splits down for some of them, just based on the ones that I have written down. He's the best shooting big here, and like there's some like spoiler alert, I didn't have Brook Lopez even in my short list. Just gonna say it. So if he's the one you're saying is better,
a shit season, dude.
No,
He had
yeah, he's
okay.
not the one I was looking
Like
at.
that's what I'm saying. Like there's certain players like I just didn't like. Valanciunas. Sorry, no, didn't even bother.
Sorry,
So-
no. He was my honorable mention. He's one of the two bigs that played all 82 games. I thought you just said availability was the most important thing, Ren. What happened to that? He played all 82 games, Ren.
Where did he play?
I don't know.